And so to start us off, I wanted to tell the creation story. As you know, there's many, I don't mean to say the creation story, because every culture has a different creation story. There's thousands of creation stories. If you study A Course in Miracles, it's a pretty boring creation story. It goes something like this. Into eternity where all was well, there crept a teeny mad idea at which we forgot to laugh. And then we fell into a dream. It's like a horrible creation story. It's like something was all a mistake. Anyhow, this was kind of was. But we'll talk about that actually. But the creation story I wanted to use was from Genesis, and the story about how this world came to be. And in the very beginning, God was feeling really crafty, and she was like, I got to get my craft on. And so she said, first I got to look at, what is. So let me turn the lights on so I can see what I have to work with. So she turned on the lights, and boom, there was night and day. And she was like, wow, this is good. And then she created men, and she created women, and she created dogs and cats and birds. And she was like, this is good. I know I shouldn't talk about God as if God's a woman, because recently I got a memo from God who was like, I need to let you know something. And I was like, what is it? And she's like, you're not a woman. And I was like, really? I was like, well, that can't be right, because I was made in your image. When I look in the mirror, I see a woman, so you must be a woman. And she's like, nope, not a woman. I was like, so the Bible, Course in Miracles, it's all right? And she's like, no, that's not right. I'm not a man either. And I was like, well, what's up? She's like, I keep saying she because it's hard to change people's pronouns. But they said, I'm non-binary. So I had to look up non-binary. Non-binary means an individual who embraces both masculine and feminine without identifying with one or the other. I was like, boom, of course you're non-binary. I mean, that makes complete sense. Like, why didn't I see that? And why didn't you tell us that? And the God was like, Maureen, it's really hard to come out. I was like, yeah, I heard that, right? And they said, I may not be just a man, I may not be just a woman, but what I really am is a people pleaser. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I'm a people pleaser. You can just call me, whatever you want to call me, and I will come, and you can come as ever you need to come, and I will be with you. And I was like, well, that's pretty refreshing, and then also seems so dang obvious, right? So back to the creation story. They're creating all of this, and they feel so good about it that on the seventh day, they were like, good enough. I'm going to go rest. I'm going to go take a rest. And we were like, what? Like, you're just going to take a rest? Like, this didn't sit well with us because we are doers, and we wanted to do more. We're like, we still have a full another day. Like, I feel like you're calling it in, God. Like, you should probably do some more. But God said no. We're like, really? Like, there shouldn't be like some sort of celebration party or an awards dinner? Imagine an awards dinner for creating the world. Like, I want to thank God. But God was like, no, we just need to rest. We did not care for this idea of rest. So God went off to rest, and we started staring at each other. And then the little know-it-all came in. That little know-it-all that just has to come into everything. They're like, you know what I think? I think God phoned it in. I think God's withholding from us. I think that we could do better. And the rest of us were like, better? What's better? We hadn't heard of better. We were like, what's better? Is better like, we tried to pull from our dictionary what better was. We're like, is it like butter? We're like, no, it's not like butter. And butter's good, but it's better than butter. And they were like, it was better. It was better. It's better than good. It's gooder. It's more good. And we're like, oh, wow, more good. Well, we want in on more good. We want better. We started to feel an agitation within us. This is where it happened. This is where into eternity, where all was well, there crept a teeny mad idea at which the Son of God forgot to laugh and started taking it seriously. We started thinking like there's something better than what God could do. All of us at the same time decided, we're going to outgood God. We're going to try and outgood God. We didn't tell each other. We thought this was going to be a special mission on our own. Like, if there's good, I could probably do better. I'm the one to do it. And so we started to fracture everything into good, better, best. Good, better, best. And this was the perfect recipe for hell. So Dhammagarya for us is a great teacher, don't get me wrong. I love the idea of being impeccable with your word. This is good. To be impeccable with your word is good. And to not take anything personally, this is really good. And to not make assumptions, this is really good. But when it comes to do your best, if it's in the hands of the ego, it can get a little wonky. As an example, right here we're at Speakeasy. Speakeasy is really good. We had Al here last week, And he brought those cookies. Those cookies were really good. It was all good. It's beautiful. It's a nice community. Last Sunday, I was down at Cityside. Cityside was packed, and they had this great music. The music was off the hook, and they served up chocolate cake, which was great. Nothing against Al's cookies, but this was pure chocolate cake, and I was like, this is really good. Now, right now, you might be thinking, like, wait a minute. Like, you told us this was good, and now this is sounding like better, and I'm starting to question my choices. Like, maybe I need to go to Cityside. Maybe I drew the short straw, you know? But the thing is, we don't actually know if it's better. I'm just being a know-it-all. I'm just telling you what's not here. So that little know-it-all gets in and starts to wreak havoc on everything. And I don't even want to break the news to you about this being good, that being better, and there being a best. Because there is a best. It's good to do good, it's good to do better, but really Don Miguel Ruiz wants us to do our best, live our best life, right? Which sounds like something Oprah would say, so that can't be bad, because Oprah's really good. Really, really good. In fact, she's Super Soul Sunday. She's the best. So we might be here eating vegan cookies, they might be at Cityside eating chocolate cake, but you know, out in California, she's on a well-cut lawn, she's serving up chocolate-covered strawberries and mimosas, and she's not talking about Don Miguel Ruiz. She's talking to Don Miguel Ruiz. She's talking to him, right? And everyone's going home with a car or something. So that's the triangle that we're on. Doing your best sometimes for me can sound like that invitation that follows you outside of coat checks and Uber's and restaurants, when the well-meaning person says, "Good night, be safe," and you're like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Is there something I don't know? Like about being safe? Like everything felt really good until you said be safe, and now I feel like there's something that I should be concerned about." And do your best feels the same to me. It's like, wait, like do you think I'm not doing my best? And maybe I'm not doing my best. Maybe I am phoning it in. I've been known to phone it in. I like shortcuts. I like, cutting corners. I like life hacks. Showing up, a day late and a dollar short, a little disheveled. And to tell you the truth, sometimes that's my best. Sometimes that's your best too. At first, the truth will piss you off, but then it will set you free, right? Maybe we should lay down a little bit of doing your best in regards to big, best, and better, and just be your truth. Like, could we be in my truth? Because the truth is always good. Me telling you the truth of where I'm at any time is always audacious. But me trying to be my very best is sometimes terrible. Like absolutely terrible. My best is sometimes terrible, especially when it comes to math. I failed math 3 times. Algebra. Actually, I only failed it twice. That's how bad I am at math. Yeah, I only failed it twice. But I failed it once in summer school. I failed it in summer school. Who fails summer school? This winter here. So at that time, I really felt like I was doing my best. I studied so hard. I had a study buddy. I did everything I could to understand what was happening. And every single time the test would come back and the teacher would write on the test, "What happened to you?" You know what I didn't tell the teacher because I didn't know? My mom died. That's what happened. None of this math is going to add up, sir. My mom died in May. Summer school was in June. I couldn't figure anything out. But I didn't have the tools to tell my truth. So that's what my best looked like. Now, under the gaze of the ego, I feel like this kid failed summer school. Something's wrong. Instead of under the gaze of radical compassion, this is her best. This is what this looks like. Wouldn't it be nice if we invoked a little more radical compassion for ourselves so we could see what the situation actually is instead of judging it against good, better, and best? Life is going to throw us some curveballs all the time. This is life. Sometimes our best is not going to add up because we're measuring it against everyone else. The 2 roads to hell are comparison and complaining. So as long as I'm complaining about what I'm doing or complaining about how someone else is doing it, I'm off course. As soon as I'm comparing myself to anyone or comparing anyone else to me, I'm off course. We want to step off the scale of good, better, best and just be our most authentic truth to the best of our ability. The question is, what is your best? A lot of times people don't know what their best is. I was sharing with Pam recently, yesterday, that I was at this convention and I was facilitating a conversation on gender. And I was watching people on stage, and usually I feel like I should be up on that stage teaching somebody something. But yesterday I felt so much peace. I was like, I feel so good just being in this seat right here. And then when I got to facilitate, I really liked sitting and helping other people tell their story. And I started to realize yesterday that speaking is a thing that I like to do, but facilitating is what I'm great at. I love getting people up on stage. I love hearing other people's stories. I didn't start a church so that you could hear what I had to say. I started a church so you guys could talk amongst yourself. This is just the foreplay. This has always just been the foreplay so I could get you in the game. So it's interesting that what I once thought was my best, I wanted to go for this, was like, well, God's going to show you something different. Be open to learning. Be open to evolving. We either repeat or revolve. So you could repeat these lessons over and over and over again, or you could evolve into what you're really here to do. And that requires that we continue to shed and learn and be open to learning new things about ourselves and not confine ourselves to one particular thing. You might say, well, I'm the artist, or I'm the teacher, or I'm this. And then you might prevent yourself from growing into a more audacious version of yourself. What do you love to do? When I was in California, after my husband left me, I had to get a job, I had a kid, and I had to pay the rent. And I looked at all the things that the world was offering me, and I was like, no. I was like, this would kill me, this would suck the soul right out of me. And so my internal teacher was like, why don't you write down what you would love to do, what you love to do? And I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense, but I'll follow directions. I was like, I love kids, I love parties, and I love acting. Then I thought about that for a little while, and I went back to the newspaper, and it was there all along, but I didn't see it. There was an ad for kids' parties, kid entertainment. And I was like, well, that's perfect for me. I called them not too long after that. I went to this company, I worked for them. I was like, I could do this. I started my own company. And I felt like I was not working. I was in love with what I was doing. I was so happy to be at every kid's birthday party and be like, you're awesome. And I'm Ariel. It was great. Don't segregate yourself to what the world is offering you. Like, really figure out what lights you up. That's a part of your responsibility of doing your best. So when I'm working with a client, I'll usually say, like, what makes you want to jump out of bed in the morning? Invest in yourself. Invest in your dreams. You don't have to repeat the classrooms. Truth says yes to what is a yes. And truth says no to what is a no. So it's okay for you to start to move through your life and really go, this is really not a yes for me. It has nothing to do with who I'm going to be. Sometimes we just let other people fill in our calendar. We get to really decide what we want to do here. We get to please that internal teacher so that we can be available to other people and really be ignited in our best version of ourselves. There's another block that can come up when we're on our way to doing our best, which is, I'm too busy. God does not push you at the speed of stress. God moves you at the pace of grace. And you could move at the pace of grace with God if you decide just to do what is yours to do and no more and no less. That requires for you to know that you are all that you need to be. You could never be anything more, and you could never be anything less. But we do like to try and add things onto us to try and prove our worth. You don't have to prove your worth. On the 6th day, God said you were good. Good enough. End of story. Period. Let's all rest in that. Another thing that can block you is that the ego will measure things. You'll say, well, my bank account looks like this, or my weight looks like that, or my friends group looks like this, and numbers, and numbers will drive us crazy like they did for me when I was trying to study algebra. So if it can be measured by numbers, it's most likely not really that important, because love doesn't use any measurements. You can't measure the joy that comes from when you are on point in your role. When you're on point, you'd be like, I don't care if they even pay me. This is so audacious. I would do this for free in the dark in the middle of the night with nobody watching. And if you show up like that, the numbers will work themselves out. Because form follows consciousness. This is not a race. We do have an addiction to doing more and doing more and doing more. But you are enough. You have always been enough. And if you will realize that, you will take every single engagement and every single task that you're involved in, and you will show up to that and be with that. Make your bed, make your bed. Greet your friend, greet your friend. Be with your kids, be with your kids. There's not a lot of stress and struggle to the game plan of God. It really has to do with being right here in the goodness. There's nothing else out there. The backstory isn't important. All we have to do is show up to this, to strip down all the good, better, best, and just be in the good. Because then we will activate peace. And that's what our goal is here. Our goal is peace. And when peace is the goal, love is the first guest that arrives. And love shows up, and sprinkles music and magic and miracles on everything when love shows up. Amen. Oh, okay, yeah, amen. And she sings a song that says, all is well with the world. All is good, right here and right now. When love arrives, ego doesn't slink off into the quietness. Ego stands right outside the window with a big boombox blasting all of the horrors of the world. And so we want to be like, yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's pretty good here. What's going on? You know? And we rush to the window out of fear and fantasy. Fear is, oh my God, it's so bad, it's so bad, it's the worst, it's the worst, it's the worst. And fantasy is, oh, it's the best, it's the best, it's the best out there. And we're supposed to be out there and not right here. So those are the two evil stepsisters that will pull us from this moment of goodness. But that's all they got. The worst and the best, the worst and the best, that's all they got. Nothing good comes from outside the window. It lives right here, right under your nose. All here, all the time. The game is being you. Eileen, when Eileen throws a dinner party, it looks like she's been thinking about that dinner party for her whole life. And when you show up to that dinner party, you feel like, this is amazing. I don't throw a dinner party like that. If you show up to my house and I'm throwing a dinner party, what you're going to get is somebody rushing in the back door with cold takeout. And I'm like, I'm here. Sit down. It's going to be okay. That's my best when it comes to dinner parties. That's okay. So you got to play you. Carol can't be anybody else. Carol's got to be Carol. Carol is awesome at being Carol. Nobody else can be as good at Carol as Carol is. Carol gets to play Carol and be the most audacious Carol. And have fun being Carol. All of us get to have fun being who we are. When I had that kids party company, I was trying to make other people love what I loved, because I loved kids and parties and entertainment. So I tried to roll people in, you're going to love this too. One of them was my husband. I was like, you're going to love this. We got this gig. I had gigs for him left and right. It was not a good thing. The last gig was that we had this gig where we were supposed to be Santa and an elf at a birthday party. And we went to the birthday party, and he was the worst Santa ever. He was like grumpy Santa. And I was getting angrier and angrier as his elf. And I was going up to him like, be jolly! Be jolly! And he would get more and more closed down, and I was like, oh my God, and I'm sweating. And of course it's July, because it's a July party in California. We get out to the street, and I'm literally screaming at him, that was the role of a lifetime! You ruined it! You don't even want to work for my company, do you? And he was like, I don't. I've told you this many times. So you just want to be aware of that. Of not making anybody your best. That's going to be so painful. If you do your best, you'll have peace, you'll have purpose, you'll have prosperity. If you try to do somebody else's best or get someone to do your best, you will have a whole bucket of pain. Yeah. A whole bucket of pain. Let's try not to do our best. I know you probably wouldn't hear me say that, but let's try not to. Let's just be. Let's just be. Let's just be in the recognition of what is. Let's just see if we can have a happy and holy communion with everything that is. Let's just see if we can see it the way God first saw it. When she, he, they said, this is good. This is good. Because we are, as the Course says, good and beautiful and holy. And that is the whole and holy truth. And that's the word. Amen.